Welcome back, Young and the Restless fans. The next 2 weeks in Genoa City are shaping up to be filled with shocking twists, emotional confrontations, and secrets that could change everything. From troubled marriages and health concerns to complicated romances and mysterious memories, several familiar faces are about to find themselves facing difficult choices. Let's start with Victor Newman and Nikki Newman. Victor believes their marriage can still be saved, but he's approaching the situation in a way that only Victor can. He remains convinced that one major obstacle is standing in the way of their relationship moving forward. In his eyes, Nikki's continued friendship with Jack Abbott has become a serious problem. Victor isn't willing to ignore it any longer. As tensions rise between Victor and Nikki, he pushes for changes that Nikki simply isn't prepared to make. She values her friendship with Jack and refuses to let anyone dictate who she can and cannot have in her life. That disagreement quickly becomes another source of conflict between the longtime couple. But while Victor focuses on his frustrations, Nikki is quietly dealing with something much more concerning. Recently, Nikki has been struggling with severe headaches. At first, she tries to brush them off and continue with her normal routine. However, those around her begin to notice that something doesn't seem right. Victoria Newman becomes increasingly worried about her mother's condition. The headaches appear to be getting worse, and Victoria fears they may be a sign of a larger medical issue. As a result, Victoria starts encouraging Nikki to seek professional medical help before the situation becomes more serious. Whether Nikki follows that advice immediately remains to be seen, but concern continues to grow among those closest to her. Meanwhile, another emotional storyline is beginning to unfold involving Sally Spectra and Adam Newman. Sally's pregnancy remains one of the biggest topics of discussion, and there are still plenty of questions surrounding her future. While Sally tries to stay focused on what's best for herself and her child, Adam finds it difficult to hide his concerns. One of Adam's biggest worries involves Billy Abbott. Adam has never fully trusted Billy, and that hasn't changed. As conversations about the pregnancy continue, Adam openly expresses doubts about Billy's ability to provide the stability Sally deserves. However, Sally isn't interested in hearing criticism. She quickly comes to Billy's defense and makes it clear that she doesn't appreciate Adam questioning Billy's character or intentions. The disagreement creates even more tension between Sally and Adam, who continue to struggle with unresolved feelings and complicated emotions. At the same time, another mystery is slowly developing elsewhere in Genoa City. Matt Clark remains on a difficult journey to uncover the truth about his past. After spending so much time with missing memories, Matt desperately wants answers. Unfortunately, every new discovery seems to create even more confusion. That search for the truth takes another dramatic turn when Matt visits Noah Newman's recreation of the Shadow Room. Something about the environment triggers unexpected memories. For brief moments, fragments of Matt's past begin resurfacing. Unfortunately, those memories don't provide the clarity he hoped for. Instead, they leave him feeling overwhelmed, frightened, and more confused than ever. The pieces simply don't fit together. The more Matt remembers, the more questions he has. And as his memories continue returning, the possibility grows that some dangerous truths may soon come to light. What exactly happened in Matt's past? And will remembering everything place him directly in harm's way? Those answers may arrive sooner than anyone expects. As Matt Clark continues struggling to piece together his missing past, the people around him are becoming divided over what should happen next. No one feels that conflict more strongly than Victor Newman and Nick Newman. Both men agree that Matt's situation is unusual and potentially dangerous, but their opinions quickly begin to separate when it comes to deciding how he should be handled moving forward. Victor remains focused on the past. He hasn't forgotten the damage that was done, and he isn't convinced that Matt's recent behavior should erase everything that happened before. From Victor's perspective, losing memories doesn't automatically erase responsibility. Nick, however, sees something different. The man standing before them now doesn't seem like the same person everyone once feared. Matt's confusion appears genuine. His attempts to understand his past seem sincere. Instead of seeing a threat, Nick sees someone struggling to rebuild his identity. That difference in perspective creates friction between father and son. As Matt continues searching for answers, Victor and Nick find themselves debating whether revenge, forgiveness, or caution should guide their next steps. Meanwhile, another family disagreement is beginning to heat up. Lily Winters is growing increasingly frustrated with Devon Winters. Although Devon believes he's acting out of concern, Lily feels he's crossing boundaries that aren't his to cross. The source of the conflict is simple: Kane Ashby. Lily's renewed connection with Kane has already attracted plenty of attention, and not everyone is happy about it. Devon has made it clear that he doesn't approve of the situation. He questions Kane's motives and worries that Lily could end up getting hurt. But Lily isn't interested in receiving relationship advice. In fact, she becomes increasingly irritated by Devon's constant criticism. From Lily's point of view, her personal life belongs to her and no one else. She doesn't believe Devon has the right to make decisions for her or dictate who she spends time with. As their disagreements continue, Lily becomes more determined than ever to follow her own path regardless of what anyone else thinks. That confidence may soon pay off in a major way. Victor Newman eventually follows through on a promise that many people doubted he would keep. After their controversial fake kidnapping arrangement, Victor delivers on his end of the bargain. The reward is significant. Lily receives control of Chancellor. It's a development that could completely reshape her future and dramatically increase her influence within Genoa City. For Lily, this moment represents validation. She fought hard to reach this point, and finally seeing the deal become reality gives her another reason to push forward despite all the criticism surrounding her recent decisions. However, business victories aren't the only major developments taking place. At Genoa City Memorial Hospital, a surprising opportunity begins to emerge. Dr. Stephanie Simmons finds herself at the center of an important conversation when her name is submitted for the open Chief of Staff position. Initially, Stephanie doesn't know who recommended her. The mystery doesn't last long. She eventually discovers that Nate Hastings was responsible for putting her name forward. The revelation catches Stephanie's attention and opens the door to an important discussion about her future. Nate strongly believes she would be an excellent fit for the position. He encourages her to seriously consider accepting the opportunity, pointing out the positive impact she could have on the hospital and the people working there. Stephanie appreciates Nate's confidence in her abilities, but accepting such a major responsibility isn't a decision she can make lightly. As she weighs her options, questions about leadership, career goals, and personal priorities begin to surface. At the same time, Nate finds himself reflecting on his own future. Watching Stephanie consider returning to a larger role within the medical world forces Nate to think about choices he's made in his own life. Could medicine once again become part of his future? Or has that chapter permanently closed? Those questions may soon demand answers. And as several residents of Genoa City continue facing life-changing decisions, one thing becomes increasingly clear. The next few days won't simply bring emotional conversations. They'll bring choices capable of altering relationships, careers, and futures in ways no one can fully predict. While major decisions are being made across Genoa City, another storyline is quietly building toward a potentially explosive revelation. This time, the spotlight falls on Phyllis Summers. Phyllis has spent years finding ways to survive difficult situations, but lately it seems like every move she makes creates another problem. Just when she thinks she's gaining control of a situation, new complications emerge and push her back into uncertainty. Unfortunately for Phyllis, things are about to become even more challenging. Victor Newman is feeling unusually confident. In fact, Victor believes he has already won a battle that Phyllis never had much chance of winning. Whatever strategy Phyllis was relying on appears to be falling apart, and Victor has no intention of showing sympathy. As pressure continues mounting, Phyllis finds herself running out of options. That leaves her with only one realistic choice. She turns to Michael Baldwin. Once again, Phyllis reaches out for legal help, hoping Michael can find a solution to the growing problems surrounding her situation. However, Michael isn't likely to make things easy. Although he may agree to listen, he also knows Phyllis has a history of creating complications through impulsive decisions. Instead of immediately offering support, Michael may challenge her to take responsibility for the position she now finds herself in. The conversation could become uncomfortable. Phyllis desperately needs help, but Michael may force her to confront some difficult truths before deciding how involved he wants to become. Meanwhile, across town, another long-buried secret threatens to resurface. Audra, Charles and Holden Novak are about to revisit a chapter of their history that neither of them has ever completely escaped. The reopening of the Shadow Room has triggered more than just memories for Matt Clark. For Audra and Holden, it serves as a reminder of events they would rather forget. Years ago, their lives became connected to a tragedy that changed everything. What began as a dangerous situation quickly spiraled out of control, leaving consequences that neither of them expected. Although they have worked hard to move forward, the past has never truly disappeared. Now, with a new version of the Shadow Room becoming the center of attention in Genoa City, old emotions begin returning. The familiar atmosphere brings back memories they have spent years trying to bury. As a result, Audra and Holden are forced into difficult conversations about what really happened. The incident involved an art dealer whose death became a turning point in both of their lives. According to the story that continues to haunt them, Holden acted while trying to protect Audra. But regardless of the circumstances, the aftermath created a secret that neither of them has been able to fully leave behind. Together, they covered up what happened. At the time, they believed it was the only way to protect themselves and preserve their futures. Now they are left wondering whether that decision could eventually come back to destroy everything they've built. The more they discuss the past, the more obvious it becomes that neither one has fully moved on. There is still guilt. There is still fear. And perhaps most importantly, there is still uncertainty about what could happen if the truth ever emerges. Despite those concerns, both Audra and Holden understand that avoiding the situation isn't an option. The grand opening celebration for the new Shadow Room is quickly approaching. Many familiar faces from Genoa City are expected to attend the event, making it one of the most talked about gatherings of the season. Audra and Holden will likely find themselves right in the middle of it. On the surface, everything may appear normal. Guests will celebrate. Friends will reconnect. New memories will be created. But underneath that excitement, tension continues building. Every familiar sight and every familiar face could trigger memories of a secret that refuses to stay buried. And if those memories become impossible to ignore, Audra and Holden may soon discover that the past is much closer than they ever imagined. As old secrets grow more dangerous and personal relationships become increasingly fragile, Genoa City moves one step closer to a series of shocking developments that could change multiple lives forever. As the second week of June begins, several major storylines start moving toward critical turning points. Relationships are tested, professional opportunities emerge, and unexpected challenges threaten to change the future for some of Genoa City's most familiar faces. One of the biggest developments centers around Dr. Stephanie Simmons. After spending time carefully considering her options, Stephanie finds herself closer than ever to making an important career decision. The Chief of Staff position at Genoa City Memorial Hospital represents a tremendous opportunity, but it also comes with enormous responsibility. The decision isn't simply about accepting a title. It's about committing herself to a leadership role that could influence countless lives throughout the community. As Stephanie reflects on what this opportunity could mean, she continues discussing the situation with Nate Hastings. Nate remains one of her strongest supporters. From his perspective, Stephanie possesses the experience, intelligence, and leadership qualities necessary to excel in the position. He believes the hospital would benefit greatly from having someone like her guiding its future. Eventually, Stephanie begins leaning toward acceptance. The possibility of stepping into a larger role becomes increasingly appealing, especially as she considers the positive impact she could make. At the same time, her conversations with Nate begin influencing him in unexpected ways. For quite some time, Nate has attempted to build a future outside traditional medicine. Yet seeing Stephanie embrace a medical leadership opportunity forces him to reconsider some of his own choices. Old passions begin resurfacing. Questions that Nate thought he had already answered suddenly return. Could medicine still be part of his future? Has he truly moved on from that chapter of his life? Or is there still unfinished business waiting for him? Those questions become increasingly difficult to ignore as the days pass. Meanwhile, a much more alarming situation is developing elsewhere. Nikki Newman continues struggling with troubling symptoms. What initially appeared to be occasional headaches has gradually evolved into something far more concerning. Family members who were already worried about Nikki's health begin noticing additional signs that suggest the situation may be worsening. Victoria remains especially concerned. She has repeatedly encouraged her mother to seek medical attention, fearing that valuable time could be lost if Nikki continues postponing a proper evaluation. Unfortunately, those concerns may soon prove justified. A frightening medical crisis appears to be approaching. Although the full details remain unclear, warning signs continue accumulating around Nikki's condition. The people closest to her can sense that something is wrong, even if they don't yet understand the full extent of the problem. For Victor Newman, this creates a difficult emotional situation. His recent disagreements with Nikki regarding Jack Abbott have already placed strain on their marriage. Now, concerns about Nikki's health threaten to overshadow every other issue. Suddenly, personal grudges and relationship conflicts may seem insignificant compared to the possibility that Nikki could be facing a serious medical challenge. Elsewhere, another important decision begins taking shape. Lily Winters finds herself standing at a crossroads regarding her professional future. The growing tension between Lily and Devon continues, creating complications within the family business. While both care deeply about their family's success, their disagreements over Kane Ashby have become increasingly difficult to separate from business matters. Every discussion seems to circle back to the same issue. Devon remains skeptical of Kane. Lily remains determined to make her own decisions. As frustrations continue building, Lily begins questioning whether remaining fully committed to the family company is still the right choice. A different path starts looking increasingly attractive. Now that she has gained control of Chancellor, Lily possesses options she didn't previously have. Instead of folding Chancellor into the Winters family business structure, she begins considering the possibility of operating it independently. Such a decision would represent a dramatic shift. It would allow Lily to establish her own vision, make her own decisions, and build something separate from the constant family disagreements that have been weighing on her. Even more interesting, Kane could become part of those plans. As Lily evaluates her future, the possibility of working alongside Kane becomes increasingly realistic. The idea could strengthen both their personal connection and their professional partnership. Of course, major decisions rarely happen without consequences in Genoa City. If Lily chooses this path, it could create new tensions, new rivalries, and new power struggles throughout the business community. And as multiple characters prepare to make life-changing choices, it becomes clear that the coming days will bring consequences that extend far beyond simple personal disagreements. The stage is being set for dramatic confrontations, unexpected alliances, and revelations that could reshape the future of Genoa City. As Genoa City moves deeper into June, several storylines begin colliding in ways that could create lasting consequences for everyone involved. At the center of one of the biggest upcoming conflicts is Billy Abbott. Billy has never been someone who quietly accepts defeat, and that's unlikely to change anytime soon. While Lily Winters continues exploring her future with Chancellor, new information is about to land in Billy's hands. Unfortunately for Lily, the news Billy uncovers could completely change the direction of events. The discovery catches Billy's attention immediately. Whatever he learns appears significant enough to spark action, and those who know Billy understand exactly what that means. Once he becomes convinced that an opportunity exists, he rarely sits on the sidelines. Instead, he starts looking for ways to take advantage of the situation. That creates a serious problem for Lily. After finally gaining control of Chancellor, she expected to focus on building the company's future. However, Billy's involvement threatens to create an entirely new battle. Rather than respecting Lily's position, Billy may decide that Chancellor should belong under his control. If that happens, a major power struggle could erupt. Business rivalries in Genoa City have a long history of becoming intensely personal, and this situation could be no different. What begins as a disagreement over corporate leadership may quickly evolve into something much larger. The possibility of betrayal, manipulation, and strategic maneuvering becomes increasingly real. And as Billy moves forward with his plans, Lily may discover that holding onto power is far more difficult than obtaining it. Meanwhile, another mystery continues developing behind the scenes. Jack Abbott remains focused on one mission above all else: finding Diane. Ever since Diane's disappearance, unanswered questions have continued haunting those closest to her. Every new lead creates hope, but every dead end brings fresh frustration. Still, Jack refuses to give up. His determination only grows stronger as time passes. Convinced that answers are out there somewhere, Jack continues working closely with his private investigator in an effort to uncover the truth. Eventually, progress begins to emerge. New information arrives. Fresh clues start pointing investigators in a direction they may not have previously considered. Although the details remain uncertain, the investigation appears ready to take a significant step forward. For Jack, even the smallest breakthrough feels important. Every piece of information has the potential to reveal where Diane is, what happened to her, and who may be responsible for her disappearance. One name continues hovering over the mystery: Patty Williams. As additional clues surface, questions surrounding Patty refuse to disappear. Could Patty somehow be connected to Diane's sudden vanishing? Is she hiding information that could solve the case? Or is there an entirely different explanation waiting to be uncovered? At this stage, nothing can be ruled out. What makes the situation even more intriguing is the growing sense that someone knows more than they are admitting. Secrets rarely stay hidden forever in Genoa City, and this mystery appears no different. The closer Jack gets to the truth, the greater the possibility that unexpected revelations will begin surfacing. And if Patty is involved in any way, the consequences could be enormous. For Jack, however, speculation isn't enough. He wants answers. He wants proof. Most importantly, he wants Diane back. That determination may push him further than ever before. As the investigation intensifies, viewers can expect more twists, more questions, and potentially some shocking discoveries that nobody sees coming. By the end of these 2 dramatic weeks, Genoa City could look very different. Nikki's health crisis may reach a dangerous turning point. Lily could find herself fighting to protect Chancellor. Billy may launch a bold new move. Audra and Holden's buried secret could threaten to resurface. Matt Clark's memories may continue returning piece by piece. And Jack's relentless search for Diane might finally bring him closer to the truth. One thing is certain. The next chapters of The Young and the Restless are packed with emotional confrontations, shocking revelations, family conflicts, and high-stakes drama. With so many lives hanging in the balance, fans won't want to miss a single moment of what's coming next in Genoa City.